House of the Dragon, episode 4. You'll have to excuse the weird shadow that's coming from. I don't usually wear glasses, so I didn't know that the light did this, but yes, weird shadow around my eyes. I'm not really sure how far ahead today's episode jump. I don't think it's mentioned specifically, but far enough ahead to the point where Daemon has completed his conquest of the Stepstones, returning back to King's Landing as tensions are once again rising beautifully. This was a fantastic episode, and there's a great split between Rhaenyra, Daemon, Viserys, Otto and Alicent as the Game of Thrones here just continues to escalate. Rhaenyra continues to be rebellious here, of course, as she sort of pies off any potential suitor that Viserys has set up for her and instead goes on a secretive night out with Daemon where it's like he shows her what she's really been missing out on. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sex. Sex was never uncommon in Game of Thrones, that's for sure, but here in House of the Dragon, in this episode in particular, it felt different. In Game of Thrones, sex, whilst it did serve a purpose, it kind of felt like it was just kind of there to fill out the HBO quota of showing as much tits, arse, and cock as possible, just to hammer home that sex was in fact taking place. Here it felt like it had a real emotional purpose, with Rhaenyra breaking her vow to remain a maiden until finding a husband, and Sir Criston breaking his vow as a member of the King's Guard. It was a passionate scene, it was well done, and you could really feel the potential implications of what these two characters were doing, and the potential effects that it could have on both of them if the truth of this were to ever come out. Then of course there's the rumours that she in fact fucked Daemon, which, whilst untrue, it was still close to happening, and it does show that Daemon wants to take her to wife. Whether that's for a power grab or whether it is truly for love, hard to tell. That remains to be seen, but Rhaenyra, out of regret for the fact that she has broken her maidenhood unbeknownst to the king, decides to finally appease Viserys by agreeing to wed Laenor Velaryon, but only if he removes Otto as his hand. This Viserys does, he listens to his daughter, and, that it really does set things up in an interesting manner for how things are going to unfold for the king and his former hand, because you feel like the end of that drama, it didn't just finish there. You feel like there's going to be further implications from that for sure. Rhaenyra is a very smart girl. She frowns upon the bullshit that a woman cannot be a ruler and sees that Otto is full of shit in regards to supporting the king, as Otto of course wants Aegon, his grandson, to be on the throne. He wants his blood on the throne. It's really being very clear that Otto is not working to benefit the king here, and Viserys was right, but it's one of them. He needed his daughter to tell him, and he needs to keep her close because she is his best asset right now. Millie Alcock was so good in this episode here as young Rhaenyra. She is such a compelling and likable character, and it really is going to be quite gutting when the show does the time jump to the point where there is an older Rhaenyra in charge, well, an older Rhaenyra playing her, because younger Rhaenyra is so good here. And that's not to say that the actress playing the older version of Rhaenyra is, going to do a bad job. She may do just as well, but young Rhaenyra here is just so compelling and very, very likable, and you just root for her so much, and that's really down to the performance from Millie. The same goes for young Alicent, and I hope they manage this jump well, but I can't see why not, because as I've praised in every episode review, the pacing and the time jumps between each episode is as good as I've seen in any show. Taking its time, achieving so much, it really is a triumph in how to show a story that's spanning several years. The episode also felt darker than the previous ones. It still does have room for some fun and some lightheartedness, but that's fading, and it seems like it's doing that to match the story of Rhaenyra, who is no longer, this young girl, this princess. She has gone from that to a woman grown who is soon going to have very important responsibilities towards the throne. This was probably the best episode, a step away from the battle and bloodshed from last week's episode, and really focusing more on the intensifying character drama that's developing here. Performances, writing, sets, soundtrack, it's all just brilliant, top tier. There's no point even delving into it. You know how good it is, and it continues to amaze me at how good it is. I'm still sort of just watching it like, wow, this is just such good quality. But yeah, another awesome episode. 9.5 out of 10. Best episode so far. I'm looking forward to next week. I hope young Rhaenyra is still in the fold. I think they're talking about next week is the switch up where it jumps forward to the older Rhaenyra and the older Alicent and stuff. I hope not. I want a little bit more of Millie as Rhaenyra, but we'll see. Thank you for watching. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.